Hey, this is Arlene. I've been meaning to do this video. So, I used to live, this is Whittier Woods. This is like a view of it. But, right over here, which is very interesting, because that is my car right there. I used to drive a Scion. And this must be a recent picture because the work I did in the backyard is, you can see it. So anyways, this was an ideal location in my old YouTubes when I used the thermal imaging camera. On both sides of me, that's 13007. So I'm where the black dot is. And then that and that are my neighbors, those two black lines. So they themselves actually had handheld devices and little microwaves without doors. And because these townhouses were built in the 1970s, between the townhouses, like our walls, there was no form of insulation. So you can see, like if I drilled a hole, which I did through my drywall, their wall was right there. So it was very easy for the thermal imaging camera to work. And because it was able to work, if you look at my older YouTube videos from 2017, you're able to see through the wall that somebody has a device. So in that sense, it was very helpful to really show somebody behind the wall with a device. And also right across the street, let's use another color. Right here. That townhouse from the left on the second floor. Now, the people that lived there, they actually, oh, and then this is my bedroom here on the second floor. So they had a device and it would go from here straight to me. And then I would get from here and from here. Then this townhouse right here, the man had a device. And I have an old video, he's holding something and you can actually see like sparks coming from it, like shooting towards me. And you can see that once he shoots it, he has to wait for it to like charge up. So he would stand at the window that you can't, this window, and he would do that. And then this house here, on the second floor over the garage, they had a little box. And that actually would shoot frequencies down the street to my room. Right there. So those were my main areas. Then what would happen is cars would park, like my car would be in front where you see it. Neighbor's car would be parked there. Someone would be parked here. Now all these cars had devices, so even my own car would be used against me because I would use the thermal imaging camera. And you could see there was something in my car, just as there is right now. There's always something in my car. And with my uncle there, and he had something in his Toyota 4Runner. I'm sure he still does. Now, this guy, for some reason, I could never tell if he participated. But next door, a couple moved in, and the guy actually had a handheld device. And I actually have video of him holding it. But the thing is, like when he presses on it, I would get like a shock. And so he would participate, and then these people in their house, they would park a car right there. I think it was a Jaguar, and that had something on it. So basically, that was kind of the way my targeting worked. And then what was really interesting, kind of eerie but interesting, they all have flashlights. Even my uncle, and at night they would communicate to each other with flashlights. And I don't know if I have any more YouTube videos, but you could see everybody with their flashlights at their window. And I thought that was very interesting that that happened. So anyways, now all these gang stalkers that lived here, and they still live there, this is the clubhouse, like where the HOA has an office. And someone would come and actually hold meetings, because you would see them all go, and it wasn't during the HOA meeting, they would all go to this clubhouse and have meetings. This was separate from the HOA meeting, so I thought that was very interesting. So right here is Swiss Family Park. Right here is LA County Sanitation, and then right here is the Caltrans yard. So I used to walk in this area, but I just thought it was very interesting because it was an opportune time for me to use my thermal imaging camera, because it worked excellent. So if you look at my YouTube channel back in the years of 2017, I have a lot of good footage. But also one thing interesting I wanted to note is this house right here next to me, to the left of the black dot. So this is 13007 Camino del Rey, where I live. That's 13005, and that's 13009. Now this one, this lady lived by herself, and then she had 2 adult daughters and a granddaughter. Well, one of her adult daughters, I'll say the chubby one, I had gone on a week, took like 4 days. I went and I stood on the beach at in October, I think it was 2016 or 2017. I think it was 2016. I went and I stood on the beach in Laguna Beach, and her daughter actually drove down there with her boyfriend. And I should have done a video, because that's a form of stalking. What were the chances? So I thought that was really interesting. But both sides of my townhouse, they had equipment, as I mentioned, the other houses. So when I lived in California Villages, the apartment above me had a device, and they had one they rolled around, because if you look at some of my thermal imaging cameras, you'll see like this square box with this long cord. But when I moved to California Villages, I could use my thermal imaging camera for the ceiling and see, but I could not use it on the sidewalls, so I wouldn't be able to see anything. Now here where I live in Alhambra, at the El Rancho Apartments, I cannot use my thermal imaging camera to see through the walls. It won't work. One, either they're well insulated, or two, there's something there, because they probably know about my other videos, of course, because they watch you and see the footage that I was able to put on YouTube. So I'm blocked. But even though I live here, I know the surrounding apartments, whether it's the tenants and people that come in, do have handheld devices. So below me, on both sides of me, on top of me, there's no doubt that they do. I'd be stuck on stupid next to dumb if I didn't think they did it. Because if these people here had handheld devices, then you know wherever I move there is. Just like, and sometimes they use the cars, they use light, electricity through the plugs and stuff like that. But there are handheld devices. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. And just note it because this is where I lived when I became aware of my targeting. So that's when I started really feeling things. And that's when my uncle started participating. And my family knew something was going on, but not really. Maybe they knew everything, but didn't tell me. But that's when I moved to Pico Rivera because my family was very adamant they'd get out of there. So I did. But I just wanted to share that. Oh, and you can't see it, but right here, this house was also big time. I don't know if they ran the operation or what, but they were participants. And that was very interesting. So, it's just been very interesting. So I just wanted to make this video and just to note it. So that's Whittier Woods. So you'll see in some of my older YouTube videos, I'm talking about Whittier Woods or Workman Mill Road. This is Workman Mill Road. And you can't see, but the Pomona Freeway is over here. The 605, the 605's here and the Pomona's over here. You just can't see it. So anyways, and the Pomona actually wraps around through here. You just can't really see it. So I just wanted to make this video just to kind of explain things.